Trying to get TikTok going. Check, 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 check. Trying to get YouTube going. Hopefully, my microphones are on. I think we're good. Close. What's happening? What's happening? Let me see. Everybody on TikTok, if you could hear me, please let me know in the chat. YouTube, if you could hear me, let me know in the chat. I just want to make sure these things are turned on. I just got done watching the impressions recap. MVP Designs, I appreciate that, man. HG Graphics, what's happening? Kind of just going to talk about a little bit of the Impressions Expo, stuff like that experience. Also, the Heat Press Nation event that we went to the day before, also. Loud and clear. Appreciate that. G6 Customs, what's up? Diz, what's up? Appreciate everybody for jumping on. Yeah, I was just going to talk a little bit about impressions. Some of the cool people I met over at uh, Heat Press Nation event, all that good stuff. Here supporting like every Tuesday. Appreciate that, man. Jose, appreciate that. Everybody on TikTok, I appreciate it too. Let me see. Mikey said, "What's happening?" Yeah, the impressions was seemed pretty crowded this time. Um, it was way more home creators. I'll say that than like the big like shops. I mean, they're still there. The big print shops were there. The big business owners were there, but for whatever reason there were so many home creators, home based print shops that were there, brand owners, printers, stuff like that. It was pretty dope. They said barely hear you. Damn, maybe this thing ain't even turned on. Let me see. How about now? Try to fix this one up. Bam. Hopefully, let me know if you can hear me on TikTok. But yeah, the people that were at impressions were cool, man. We stopped and talked to a lot of people. I met a lot of people in the AS Color booth, not just people that worked at AS Color, but a lot of people that were like just in there looking at stuff. Got a chance to slap hands with a ton of people there, so it's really cool. Um, and then hearing like what other people do, like their businesses, their like some people are just getting started. There's some people that have been in business for a few years. Hearing people's stories like that were kind of dope because it's like we all might have a heat press and we all might sell t-shirts and we all might do like create t-shirts from home and stuff, but we all have different audiences. We all do stuff a little bit differently, so it's kind of cool to hear. And then one of the people that I thought was really dope that I got a chance to meet was the dude from Secret League, and his name was Glenn. He was there with his chick. Met them right outside of the AS Color booth. And when I was looking back through my videos of filming the AS Color booth, he walks through the shot. And this is before I met him and everything. But that dude makes enamel pins, like the little, I don't have none, but like the little pins that you would, stick on a lanyard or on a hat or something like that. He makes those and he made some dope ass ones. And he was showing me and just like he gave me some of the pins that he made, and he's in a totally different space that I don't know nothing about. He's in the Pokemon world and he sells pins. Like that's his gig. Like he sells the pins. Like he makes them and he sells them. He makes them for other creators, he makes them for other brands and stuff. And I thought it was dope as hell because I've never known anything about that space and I didn't know anything about what he was showing me. I didn't know nothing about Pokemon. Like he was explaining to me how it all worked. And these little pins took him around the world. Like he's been traveling like crazy selling pins. Hearing that dope as hell to me, man. I was just like, yo, this is opening up so many ideas, but at the same exact time, I was mind blown because I was like, "Yo, this dude is dope as hell," and he doesn't even realize it because I was just like kind of in awe. I was just like, "Yo, you sell these things and you travel around the world selling these," and I'm talking about making T-shirts, and he watches my videos, but just what he does and how he does it, I was like, "Yo, this is so crazy to me, super dope, man." But I got a chance to meet like a bunch of dope people, man. I met a homie in the parking lot, like right when I parked, man. And then that dude was like, "Yo, I got people on the radio wearing my shit, comedians," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, man!" Like it was just so like been hyped up, man. I've been yeah, just from the parking lot, from parking to meeting people in the parking lot to going into the show, meeting people. I was just it was crazy motivating and inspiring, man. Just hearing everybody else's story, like firing me up, like, yo, I got to get on my shit. Like everybody else is moving. It's time for me to move. That's how I felt. Let me see. Um, G6 Custom said we ended up with 16 people at the meet and greet. Danny from Silky Socks, James from Atlanta Vinyl showed up. Oh hell yeah, man! I got a chance to chop it up with James from Atlanta Vinyl for a while too on Thursday when I was there. Me and the homie Kim were walking around. We ran into James. Then I got a chance to chop it up with him, man. Super dope dude. I'm glad I got a chance to see him out there. I didn't get a chance to see Danny from Silky Socks though. I didn't know he was there. But then again, he probably wasn't there on Thursday. Richard was going down. One of one. What's happening, man? Actually, you're the dude that I met in the parking lot, man. Met you in the parking lot. Thanks for everything, dog. Like after you had told me your story, I checked you out on Instagram, and then sure enough, man, I went and seen everybody that you mentioned that was wearing your stuff. I went and checked it out, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope as hell, man." That conversation right there fired me up for the day because I was just like, "Yo, this dude's got it going on. He's moving, grinding this thing out, and at the same exact time, he's making all the right moves." And that to me is like, "Yo, that's where it's at, man." So shout out to One of One, man. Dope ass dude. Appreciate you for having the conversation in the parking lot too. I don't know if you was leaving or if you have just got there also, but it was a pleasure meeting you and getting a chance to chop it up, man. Jose Menace said it. This was the first time missing the show in many years. Yeah, man. I heard that from a lot of people, and there was also a lot of vendors that weren't there. Shockaware wasn't there. T Styled wasn't there. Pro Club wasn't there. Decky wasn't there, or if they were, I didn't see any of them. But I felt like I walked the whole thing, so that was kind of crazy. But the show's the show, man. Let me see. Excuse me. I saw you were looking for a hoodie that doesn't have the lint cotton inside. Did you find any? I've been looking for some interesting DTLA. I found what was it? Independent had a good one. Some of the Smart Blank stuff had it, or did had the fuzzy that I like. Who else? Those were the two that like really stood out to me. The only thing that I didn't see was like the weight of the hoodie that I like didn't match the besides Smart Blank, but the weight of the hoodie didn't match like the fuzzy. Like some of the good heavyweight ones had like the real soft fuzzy stuff, and that I mean, it makes for like a softer feeling experience on your skin, but at the same exact time, I hate the what it does to your t-shirt after. So that's why I was just like, I found a few things that I liked, but those are probably the ones that stood out was Independent. I put it in the video, and then Smart Blink too. Did you think there were more embroidery machine companies than usual? You know what? I didn't really check for equipment this year or transfers. I didn't realize what transfer companies were there and which ones weren't there. But yeah, equipment I really wasn't checking for this year, so I was kind of tuned out to like sticker printers. Like usually I go and I'm like, I want to go and check it out. So I look at Mamaki, Roland, I look at all the sticker printers, but I didn't this year only because it wasn't top on my list. So I wasn't looking at equipment really. Same thing with transfers. I really wasn't checking for any new transfer companies or new ink formulas or anything. Mainly they're looking at the blanks. So hats, obviously Pitbull had a dope build out, and Pitbull actually reached out and was like, they seen my video where I'm talking about the side branding on the side of the hat where the little Pitbull face was. They said that they don't even, that's like their older models and they just bring those to the show to show, but they said that all of the hats that they sell now that get shipped out have no side branding. So that was a good thing because I was like, these fitted hats look exactly like New Era hats. They same bill, same everything about that hat reminded me of a regular 5950 fitted hat. But then when I saw the side branding, I was like, yo, that looks like I don't like that. So that was going to turn me off because Otto did the same thing a few years ago when they offered fitted hats. They had side branding on there too. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that on the hats that I make. But then Pitbull was quick to reach out and said that that branding isn't on their hats that they ship out, which is dope. So I think I'm going to start using some of their fitted hats because they look good, they felt good. Like I said, it reminded me of New Era, which was a plus. And it's been hard to find a fitted hat or any hat in that, just in general, a six-panel structured hat. To find one that fits and looks like a New Era hat without it being New Era, it's kind of dope. So I think I'm gonna rock with some Pitbull hats. Let me see. Pins are a part of what I sell at my shows. There it is, man. Yeah, the homie that I met, shout out to Secret League, man. He put me up on these enamel pins. He had these dope gold ones that had like crazy embossing, that had crazy cuts, and then the backside had like messages on the backside. Super dope, man. So cool to be so successful at stuff like that. Yeah, man. Like I'm saying, he was talking about traveling the world selling pins. And I was like, man, pins fit like in a little bag. Like you could bring your whole setup in like one bag because it's not like shirts and hats. And yeah, he's been killing it, man. Lapel pins usually made in China because they have the natural resources. I used to order lapels for Freemasons. Yeah, exactly like those, man. This dude that I met does dope ass work. Dope ass work. Let me see. Coach Matt, what's happening? It's great to see everybody at the meetup. Hell yeah! Shout out to G6 for hosting the dope meetup, man. And everybody that was there, I couldn't be there, but I'm glad everybody got a chance to connect face to face and actually chop it up. Devoted Brand said, "Yo, impressions look like a great time." Yeah, I think it was cool. The people and the energy was really dope within that space. The Like I said, I didn't look at a bunch of machines. Like usually I go and I'm like, yo, I want to look at different sticker printers and plotters. I want to go look at, different embroidery machines and what they have to offer and just anything out there. There was nothing that I was like, yo, I want to go back and check this out or, I need to see this. So I was kind of focused on the blank goods and I found everything that I needed to find and connected with the people that I needed to connect with when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it was a successful show for myself. Um, but it was pretty crazy to see how on trend and on brand a lot of the blank goods are keeping up with what's popular right now and how fast they could get it out, which was cool. Like I said, tree camo in my previous videos is a big deal. So tree camo hoodies, crew neck sweats, straight leg sweats, t-shirts, um shorts, everything tree camo. Almost every blank supplier was offering some sort of that, which was really cool to see. um and then there's the companies that do it really really well, like Cotton Collective was a dope one that just, it seems like they've been doing it for a while because they had different colors and variations of the tree camo in everything they offered, which was really dope to see. But yeah, it was, to me, it was pretty dope, man. Sorry, video with you looking at a lot of real tree camo. Did you see any pink real tree camo? I didn't see any pink tree camo. I saw black and white. I saw a lot of faded greens. I saw a lot of different shades of green and browns in the tree camo, but not pink. Is it expensive to get your wholesale license? Hell no. In California or Los Angeles, that shit's free. You don't even got to pay for that. You just have to apply, and then that's it. In California, if your business is outside of California, I don't know what they charge. I live in Los Angeles. If I'm trying to get a reseller permit tomorrow, it's free. You sign up, apply for it, and they approve you or don't approve you. What's your final thoughts on Pitbull caps? I like them. I think they're dope. I got to check pricing, availability, but since I know where their showroom and their warehouse is located now in downtown LA, it'll make it easy for me to like order something and then go pick it up from them. So I like that. I just got to make sure pricing is what I want to. Somebody on TikTok, Crown Loyal, said in New York, your reseller permit or your wholesale license is free also. So shout out to Crown Loyal for dropping that gem. I didn't know that. Like I said, California, Los Angeles is free. I know some states you got to pay for it, like you pay a yearly fee for it. But yeah, in Los Angeles, it's free. May I ask what program or website you use to calculate shipping? I use Shopify. Shopify takes care of all my shipping for me. They give you a small little discount depending on who you ship with, like if it's through the post office or UPS or FedEx. But being a member of Shopify or having a Shopify storefront that you pay for, you get that small little discount. But I do everything through them. When I set up my store, like say if I put up a new product, like I don't have nothing on hand right here, but like let's say I put up a new hat, I'll weigh the hat out, I'll weigh the box that I ship it in. So then that way I could put it into Shopify and I'll say this hat weighs this much. I'm going to be shipping it in this box. So when somebody orders the hat, it calculates everything where it's going because the customer puts their information in. So it'll say like this hat's going to Texas and it'll calculate everything, the weight of the hat, the weight of the box. So I don't have to pull my scale out every time I ship something. It's already pre-calculated in there. And then it'll just say, all right, if you want to ship it first class priority through the post office, here's the price for it. Here's the price for first class. Here's the price for um, priority. And then if you want to ship through UPS or FedEx, it'll break all that down for you also. So you get to choose through the menu options on which, like, how you want to send it out, what makes more sense to you. But that's what I use is Shopify. Let me see. There were a lot in the arena, like 5 of them there, and then quite a few in the main area besides the regular ones. I think you're talking about the embroidery machines. I thought it was dope. Well, one thing that I did see that was really dope was the homie. I don't remember the name of his site or his product. It was like Promo Hunter or something like that. I might be wrong, but so he pulled me to the side. He's like, "Yo, Big Brando, like I watch your videos. Can I show you something I'm working on?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah." Small booth. He had like a little, maybe not even 10 by 10 booth. He had a laptop and a TV and his banner. That was it. So he was like, check this out. So he went on the computer, pulled up his site or app or whatever it is, and he just typed in create a mock-up for using this certain blank from this certain company, uploaded his logo, and then it spit out a mock-up on the actual t-shirt. And then that was dope. And then he was like, well, let's say you want to put your logo on some hard goods, like meaning like you want to put your logo on some lanyards and dog bowls and cups, mugs, frisbees, whatever you could think of that whatever supplier you're using offers. You could say like, all right, show me what my logo would look like on all of these actual products, and then it spits it out. Boom, boom, boom. Here's all the mock-ups. That's dope as hell because it works directly with whatever supplier you're using. The second part to that was when it comes down to like pricing. So it'll work with the website and it's like, here's the wholesale pricing. This is what it costs for this many units, blah, blah, blah. So say if you're going to be printing for, I don't know, a client, and the client says, I want 600 Frisbees printed with this logo on it. You type it into this thing. It's AI generated, obviously, and it works with these sites. You type it in and it'll spit it out exactly the product, the color, whatever you want into a whole little line sheet for your client. So you could say, this is what it's going to cost. This is what it is with no thinking involved. Like this shit was dope. And he was like, if you just did this on regular AI like Chat GPT or something, it's not going to be exact because it doesn't know the product listing. It doesn't have anything. It's just going to give you a reiteration of what they think it's going to look like. But this one was taking the actual product in the actual color it offers, doing proper placement, left chest prints, back prints, the yoke print, everything that you wanted to do to this thing, you just throw it into this AI app and it spits it out for you within seconds. He did probably like 7 different mock-ups for me. He did so many different pricing situations, and it's just by AI prompts. Boom, 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 boom. And it worked so dope, man. And I want to say his thing was called Promo Hunter. I might be wrong. But he when he was giving me the demo, I thought it was dope because it'd be dope for print shops to be able to use this to really spit out like live mock-ups fast, and then to print out pricing and give you breakdowns on price breaks from the supplier and all that stuff. I thought that was amazing. Just the way it worked. It was just broken down freaking amazingly fast. And I know it's AI, and the way he built it to integrate with like say like Sanmar. Every product on Sanmar is built into this thing. So you could say like show me the Sanmar SD 500, whatever model t-shirt that is, right? In red, and I want white print on this location and this location. And the client wants me to do a quote for 12, a quote for 48, and a quote for 120. And bing, 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 spits it out with the mock-ups, location, everything done. I was like, yo, that shit is crazy. Keep up your work, man. Love what you're doing. I learned a lot from you. Appreciate that, Micro. Let me see. Jaded Creations. I appreciate all the like, love. Appreciate it. Let me see. I was hoping to see a lot of transfers. I didn't see Howard's or TKO. 613 had some great stuff. Yeah, I didn't see any transfer companies outside of Stalls because they have a big ass booth. I saw Supercolor because they're in the middle of that like walkway from the arena to the main floor. And then I seen FM because they were by the other entrance right at the beginning. But then that was it. I didn't get a chance to see 613. I didn't notice if I saw Ninja Transfers because they were like kind of right where the X Tool booth was. They weren't too far from that. But I didn't see any of their transfer samples. I went in there to try to film the little guy, the ninja guy in the ninja costume. And if you watch my video on TikTok or Instagram, like when I went in there looking for him, he was sitting down. He had the head off. He was on his phone. He was sitting it in the on the side of the booth. And I was like, oh man, that's who I came in to film. But yeah, dude was just he was on break or something. So I was like, oh man. But yeah, I didn't see too many transfer. Well, I wasn't looking for a lot of transfer companies, I should say. Let me see. Pitbull looked really good. Yeah, I thought so. I thought Pitbull hats looked amazing, man. Like I said, very, very close to 5950 New Era fitted hat. Style, height of the hat, feel of the hat, bill of the hat, very, very similar. Kathleen, what's happening? Is there other expos you would recommend, East Coast or Southeast? GPX is another one, Graphics Pro Expo. That one comes to Long Beach in August, maybe. I know that one travels around the country. I think Stan Banks is affiliated with them, like he works with them a lot. So he might promote a lot of ones that he's going to. There's another one called Printing United. I'm not 100% sure where in the country that one lands, but that one's a pretty big one that a lot of people attend. So I would say Impressions Expo, GPX, or Graphics Pro Expo, and then the Printing United one would be a dope one. If you wanted to check out some of these types of like trade show expos. Why do you think the tree camo is popular right now? It's just a popular thing. Somebody made it a thing. The oversized look, the hunter look is in. So I don't know who started the trend or I don't know why it's popular, but if you just are aware of what you see in stores and what people are wearing, you'll notice it a lot. You could be in the gym and people are wearing tree camo t-shirts. You could be in a woman's store and there's a lot of tree camo crew necks and clothes. It's just a popular colorway trend right now that is everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't know who starts these trends or I don't know who makes them, but it's a popular thing. Um, is under 300 a good price for a hat press? When it comes to buying any press, buy within your budget. If your budget is $300, then stay within the $300. To me, it don't ever overspend for any type of equipment that you have no business need for. Always spend within your budget. The reason I say that is because you don't want to overspend and buy something like crazy out of your price range. And then let's say you don't even like it, or you don't even offer that many goods to use a hat press. So it's like never going to pay itself off. So it's always easier to like operate at your budget. And then if you like business is ramping up and it's rolling and production's good, then you can always upgrade later to something else that's built for higher production, but never buy outside of your budget. So if 300 is your price range, doesn't matter what I say. If it fits your price range, it's good for your price range. They said Texas is free for your reseller permit too. So hell yeah, that's dope. Let me see. Shopify takes care of your ship. Hell yeah. Tree camo has been hot for a minute. Where I'm at, a lot of kids have been rocking the camo, even with hijabs. I think that's what that says. It's all over. How fast does a trend like that end? It all depends, man. It really, it just, you have to think like for the trendsetter, it's probably already dead for them because a lot of people are on it. But then for the people that are barely finding out about the trend, it's new to them, so it's new and fresh for them. So it's all about how you catch it in waves, and who the who's who is all depends on how long it lasts, right? So let's say somebody was wearing tree camo 3 years ago and was like, yo, this is dope. I like this. I'm wearing it. They're the trendsetter. Let's say the trendsetter of tree camo. By now that it's in mainstream malls and it's everywhere, that person is probably off of it because they're like, yo, like, I'm only into like cool shit that nobody else likes. But then for the people that are barely experiencing it, that are seeing it in the malls now and they're seeing people wear it, and those are the people that aren't the ones that are like taking the risk of what the trend is going to be. They're the ones that are like seeing somebody else wear it and is inspired by somebody else's outfit to be like, yo, I want to get into that tree camo because that person made it look cool. They might just barely be catching the wave. So it might be around for a while. You know what I mean? It's just hard to say who your audience is and who you're making for. If you're making stuff for tastemakers, chances are they're already off of it. But if you're making stuff for the people that just want to look cool, you're going to be catching it at the right time because like it's barely bubbling up, you know what I mean? But seeing that there's so many um blank suppliers now offering it just shows how popular that thing is. And they what's dope is everybody has their own rendition of it. It's not the same pattern on everything. It's like the patterns and colors are different on a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, not a problem, man. What's the name of the app? I don't remember. I want to say it was called Promo Hunter, but I might be wrong. Chances are that dude is going to be a somebody really soon, and you'll see that app. But he was just at Impressions, like I said, small booth, maybe 10 by 10, maybe 8 by 8, towards the back of the trade show. He had his banner that said Promo Hunter, maybe. He had a big screen TV on the table, and he had a little laptop. And he was just the laptop was showing. I mean, the TV was showing what's on the laptop, and he was just giving the demo right there. I thought it was dope. Florida checking in. Christine, what's happening? I heard about you and the X Tool. Yeah, man. X Tool at the show was that every time I walked by that booth was packed. And when I say packed, I'm talking like the shit was you couldn't even walk in there. It was just, and that just shows how dope their marketing is. Like, even if I don't even know nothing about their equipment or their printers or their lasers and 3D printer, if I don't know anything about that company, I know that their marketing is so dope that there's so many people that see it and we're at the show looking for that kind of stuff. And I think that's why the Ninja Transfer booth was that crowded also, is because their marketing is on point. You see the ads, you see the product posts, you see the promo videos, you see everything that they're doing and they're marketing it to the right people. So when you see them at these shows, you're like, yo, I've been seeing this on my social feed for I don't know how long. I'm gonna go check out their booth. The printers were going, the 3D printers are going, the laser engravers are going. Like their booth, the X Tool booth was crazy. Let me see. Let me see. DAX is another expo that comes to Tampa in May. August for GPX in Long Beach. Printing United is going to be in Vegas in October. I want to try to go to that one. I've never been to Printing United, but I'm gonna try to go to that one. Hello, everybody. I was at ISS Wednesday to Friday. George Lopez, you must have been going to like the seminars and the classes if you was there on Wednesday. Did anyone notice those weak and soggy one churros for $9 that were selling in the outdoor area by Ryan? I didn't see anybody selling churros, man, but that's crazy. $9, and if it was soggy, that's weak. That's like I think you're talking about like in that little hallway area, right? Like in between the arena and the actual convention center. I didn't see the churros, but that's crazy. The tree camel, a lot of hunters wear that here in NC. I think that's North Carolina. Yeah, man. Like I think that's real. Like the hunting gear is like tree camel, right? T-shirts and stuff. And somebody made it popular. And same thing with Carhartt, man. Carhartt's popular, and it's like that's like real outdoor gear, and people just like try to wear it for fashion. So it's like taking what hunters wear and bringing it to fashion. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not a tastemaker. I'm not a trendsetter. I'm not. I don't have a crazy fashion sense, so I can't say yeah that's what it is. But that's just from my observation. The camo hunter look has always been popular here where I'm from in Florida. That's for sure. Let me see. Um, I think it's called Promo Hunt. Yeah, I looked at the list of vendors. Yeah, Promo Hunt. That's the guy with the app. He wasn't in the arena. He was in the actual convention center towards the back. Like, you know how like where the restrooms are, and there's like a little concession stand that sells like snacks and shit. He was along that wall. But yeah, he had a dope ass app, man. I thought it was cool. Therese said, "Hello, Brando and everyone. Missed Tuesday talks. Husband had medical issues. Oh man, we all good now. There we go. As long as y'all good, man. Good to be back. Appreciate you for jumping on. Movie head. When you're designing your shirts, how long does it take you to create each design? It takes me all day sometimes for one design. Any gems to speed my workflow? Only sit down to design something when you have an idea. So what I do is my phone's up. I'm using TikTok on my phone, so I can't show you, but in my notes app throughout the day or whenever I have an idea, I'll throw it in my notes app, like t-shirt idea, and I'll be as descriptive as possible. The design should look like this. The target audience I want to sell it to is like this. The colors I think would look good on this should look like this. It should go on these types of blank shirts. I try to give as much detail in those notes in case I lose that idea. So then that way I could go back to my computer when I have time, look at my notes app and be like, yo, I remember this idea. I thought this was dope. Let's try to bring it to life. Boom, 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 boom. That's how I design stuff like my t-shirts, my hats, anything that I design starts like that. Idea in my phone, in the notes app. By the time I get to my computer and I have time to sit down and design, I just try to bring that idea that I had maybe a week ago or the day ago or even 6 hours ago to life. I'll just bang through because the idea is fresh in my phone. It's fresh in my mind now. And I'm like, all right, let me try to bring it to life. And then it only takes me like an hour or two to like get it get it done to where I think it looks cool and fine tune it. And then from that point, I cut it out in vinyl. And then that's what I test out to see if I need to change some things or if the idea looks good for a t-shirt. Sometimes ideas in my head look better for like a sticker design or something else, not necessarily t-shirts. So it always comes to that point. Once I put it into the Silhouette cutting app or cutting software so I could send it to the cutter, I'll try to see if it's going to look good. And then that's what I actually end up cutting out, pressing on a shirt, and then I wear it out. And then if people say, yo, that's a cool shirt, or where'd you get that shirt from? That's the reactions I want. And those are the reactions that I take back and say, all right, this is going to be a good seller. So let me order transfers and then start marketing the shirt because I want to sell the shirt. That's my process. But to answer your question, just for designing, if I don't have any good ideas, I never sit at my computer and try to force myself to have a good idea or force myself to design something. I always let the idea come to me naturally. And then if I'm not in front of my computer when that happens, I put it in my phone. And like I said, I have hundreds and hundreds of notes apps of just t-shirt ideas that I think would be cool. Not all of them are good. Not all of them are going to make it onto a t-shirt, but for the most part, all of them that I do and I put them into my phone, at least I have the idea. So that way, whenever I have time to design, I could just pull from that. Be like, yo, this is a good idea. Let me try to, let me try to bring this thing to life here. If that makes sense. I have so much ideas in my notes too. I think it's time to take a leap of faith and get into the t-shirt printing business. I think so too, man. Flying monkey, get that money. Especially if you're sitting on you might be sitting on gems. You know what I mean? Thanks for the videos and the encouragement. Not a problem, man. For me, that's how um my brain works like that. I could be driving and then an idea comes to me and then I'll just throw it in the notes app real quick. Talk to speech. I'll do it in the voice notes. Boom, boom, boom. I'll just start firing off. Make a shirt that looks like this. This is the idea. This is the concept. This is who I want to sell it to. This is what it should look like. And then boom. Once the idea and everything in my brain is in the notes app or in the voice notes app, I forget about it and I go about my day. But that happens throughout the day all the time. I just like, yo, that's a good idea. Like when I was talking to the dude that makes the enamel pins, once he showed me what he can make, my brain was spinning like my brain was noisy at that point. And we're talking, but as we're talking, I'm just thinking of like, oh shit, I could do this, I can make this. I now have a vendor or somebody that makes enamel pins. I never thought about making pins, but I had every idea in my head. So right after that conversation, as I'm walking away, I threw it in my notes app real quick. Me and the homie Kenji from I Can Do It Studios were walking away. We're going to another booth, and I'm just like firing it off in my notes app, boom, boom, all these different ideas. And then I reached out to the homie today to talk to him about pins. And I was like, yo, I got these ideas. I'm going to shoot these things to you. Shoot me your email and then see if you can make pins out of this stuff. That's how my brain works. I don't know if everybody's brain works like that, but that's for me, that's what it is. Most of my ideas come from 420 thoughts. Hell yeah, man. That's probably where the best ideas come from. You know what I mean? Do you ever go back to a design and recreate it? All the time. I got hard drives like this. This is 5 terabytes full of designs that never seen a t-shirt ever, but I started and I wasn't feeling or it wasn't looking like the vision I had in my head. So I don't trash it. I just save it on a hard drive. So if I ever come across like a similar idea, I'll have something to base it off of. And I'll be like, yo, I remember I did this. In my titling for all my designs, I'm very descriptive. So then that way I could go back in and see it. And then I index everything by year. And then inside the year folder, it's by month. So I remember what I have and when I thought of it and stuff like that. And I just go back, tweak it. Or let's say I created it, I cut it out on vinyl, I tested it out and nobody cared about it. I just shelf that design and I'm like, yo, nobody cared about this one, but I keep it just in case maybe it's not the right time for that design. And maybe like a year from now, that design might be popular or might hit. So I'll just like, end up tweaking it, maybe changing up the font could be an easy one, or maybe just positioning of whatever I'm trying to design. I try to revamp it some way and then try it out again. Do you need a license in order to purchase from AS Color? Yes, you need to have your wholesale license. Sorry, I missed the name. Who's the vendor that makes the enamel pins? He wasn't a vendor, he was just a guy there. Um, he was uh in the crowd looking at t-shirts and stuff too. I just happened to have a conversation with him, but his Instagram is Secret League. He's in the Pokemon community. Which shirts you think are best for your first drop? Think Shockaware would be a good start. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what your audience thinks. Who are you trying to sell to? Who are the customers you're trying to sell to? That's who you need to figure out if they'll wear the stuff that you're selling. How do you figure that stuff out? By looking at their social media. Who's somebody that you want to sell a t-shirt to? Who do you think is like your target audience or your uh your customer base? You can find them on Instagram easily, right? Click on their page and they're going to be standing there in a t-shirt posted up, right? They're going to be showing off their best outfit. They're going to be at the birthday party. They're going to have pictures of them at the basketball game, wherever they're at. You could see what they're wearing. So you can see how the shirt fits their body. You can have a better idea on what type of blank to use by looking at what your customers already wear. The reason I say that is because if your customers are used to wearing like baggy, loose fitting shit, and you're like, yo, I want to start using some fitted shirts, soft ring spun cotton, your audience is not going to like that. So they're going to be like, yo, I don't like my t-shirts to fit tight like that. So they're not going to shop with you. So if your customers wear shirts like Shockaware already, that's the demographic, then use Shockaware because they already wear something similar to that. You know what I mean? If you're looking and your customers are wearing Pro Club t-shirts, plain blank Pro Club t-shirts, you know you can offer a Shockaware or a Pro Club or a Pro 5 of similar styling and print on it, and you could sell it to your customer. Doesn't matter what I think. If I'm not your target audience, don't go based off of what I think you should drop your t-shirts on. Go based off what your customers are already wearing. I'm not the one buying it. Your customers are the ones buying it. So all you have to do is just do a little research, right? Figure out your customers. I want to sell to this type of, person. Like if I was trying to sell some stuff to the lowrider community right now, and if I just said, all right, I'm selling stuff to the lowrider community, I would look up lowriders, find the guys I want to sell to. I would see the pictures of them next to their cars or at the car show or what they're already wearing. And if I see that they're wearing Pro Club looking t-shirts, I'm not going to be like, I think I'm going to offer these guys some dry fit shirts because I want to offer dry fit t-shirts. That's not what my target audience wears. And if I try to offer them a dry fit Under Armour shirt with printing on it, they're going to look at that like, man, I don't wear that shit. So you want to offer, and I say this all the time, what your customers already wear. Make the sell easier for you. Don't make the sell difficult for yourself. All you have to do is do a little bit of research. How do you do the research? Instagram is your best friend. Everybody that posts a selfie or a picture of them, maybe it's like them and their wife or it's them and their kids, there's somebody posting pictures of themselves, whether it's their little profile picture or just pictures on their timeline. It's going to be of what they're wearing. If you can see what they're wearing and see how the shirt fits their body, then you have an idea on what type of shirt they use. That's going to be the best information I could give you when it comes to figuring out what shirts you should use is just that. Look at what they're wearing and then go from there. Um, on average, how many shirt sales does your website see in a month? Like 20 to 30 a day. If I'm like on my social media shit, like engaging with customers and dropping a product. But it's also unfair to say that because I also have a retail store. So people come in to shop with me in person, and then also they'll shop online, like people that aren't local to uh where my store is located. So I guess like an easy one would be like if you looked up I have a playlist called um printing money and what's the other one called? Back to basics? No, starting from scratch. It shows how I start a brand, how I get sales, all that stuff is on there so you could check it out. Like, oh, this is how he's doing it. This is what he's doing to get the sales. This is how he drives traffic to his website. All that stuff is in video form in the playlist for you, so you could check it out. Um, I do that with my t-shirt designs and also my embroidery designs. Hell yeah, that's the best way to do it. Keep laying that real foundation, brother. Texican Clothing, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for jumping on. Fearless Impressions, not a problem, man. I go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'm just here to answer questions. So if you got questions about your t-shirt business, your what you're trying to do, or if you're stuck somewhere, ask the questions in the chat and I'll try to help you out as best as possible. I've always wanted to build a streetwear brand, but I've been conflicting about whether streetwear is a style that is still common or becoming more and more outdated. Do you have any opinions? For myself, don't you don't got to label yourself as a streetwear brand. You could just start a clothing brand. Just you could start a t-shirt company if you wanted to. If you don't feel like streetwear is a thing anymore, don't label it streetwear. Start a t-shirt company, start a t-shirt business, start a clothing brand, a clothing line. The main thing is knowing who your customer is. The main thing about this whole shit is who are you going to sell to? How are you going to sell it to them? And are you creating stuff for that audience? That's all that matters. What a lot of people do, and I say this in every live stream, is this. People have the idea, I want to start a streetwear brand. I want to start a clothing brand. Let me make some designs. Put out all these crazy designs, but you have no customer in mind. You're like, yeah, I'm going to sell this to the world, or I'm going to sell this to everybody. And then you make all these things, and then you go out and try to find the customers after. That's hard as hell to do. If you do it backwards, it's easier. If you find the customer you want to sell to first, now all you have to do is just make stuff for that customer. You're making something that that customer's already going to relate to. They're already going to be like, "Oh shit, this is dope. Like it speaks to me." Because you did your homework. You found the customer first and then you made what the customer's already into. Like it's taken the guesswork out of everything. And it's literally the cheat code to being profitable in this business or not seeing any profit in this business. Because if you do it the other way around, where you're like, you're making all this cool shit that you think is cool, if you're not your own customer, who like you might think it's cool, but the market might not think it's cool. And you're going to spend all your time and energy and resources and money into putting this cool stuff out that you made, and then you're going to go try to look for customers to think that whatever you made is cool also. That's a very hard sell, and it's also very crippling to any business when there's no sales coming in when you do it that way. So I take all of that information and I throw it out the window, and I start from the beginning of finding the customer first. This is the customer that I want to sell to. I want to sell to this demographic right here. This person or whoever it is who I want to sell to. So I'm going to make stuff for that person. How do you know that they're going to be interested in it? Is because you know that person. You can see their social media. You can see their interests. You can see that they're into Camaros. You can see that they're into the Lakers. You can see that they're into French Bulldogs because they have one. You can see that they're into eating bagels with jalapeno cream cheese. You can see all of this information is on people's social media for you, the business owner, to look at and be like, yo, I know my customer because I'm looking at my customer's life right here. He has 3 kids. He has aspirations to buy this car because he's posting his dream car and it says, one day I'm going to have this. So now you know this dude wants a 69 uh fucking what I say, Camaro or whatever car he was into. Like you have all this ammo for what you can do, right? So now you're in the muscle car space and you want to make stuff for muscle car guys. You have your customer who you want to sell to. You know everything about that person. And chances are that person that you're creating for, there's more of them out there like that because that's such a big group to sell to. So now you have access to all these people to make something that somebody that's into Camaros is going to relate to, and then you can make shirts and designs around that space. And then you just start marketing it to them. How do you market to them? Put it up on your own social media and start engaging with them. Talk about Camaros. Don't talk about Camaros. Talk about the bagels they like to eat. Anything to start a conversation. That's all it is most businesses, brands, and just companies in general always forget about the customer because they get wrapped up into running the business that they forget who the actual customer is. So if you start by building it around the customer will always be in tune with what you do. Like my retail store is a perfect example of this. My retail store is based in the South Bay of LA, right? In Torrance, California. I have a huge following. I don't know, I have a huge following, but I have a good amount of followers and subscribers on YouTube. 100 something thousand people, right? So you would think I'd market my store to 100,000 people every day, but I don't say shit about my store on YouTube. Why? Because all 100,000 people don't live in the South Bay. It makes no sense for me to market my store to somebody that lives in Phoenix, Arizona, or somebody that lives in North Carolina because they don't live where my store is. The products in my store only cater to the people in this community, people that live in the South Bay. So that's why there's South Bay t-shirts. You see me wearing South Bay hoodies, making South Bay hoodies. You see me making LA hats. All of these things are because I know my customer. My customer is a person that lives in the South Bay and they're coming to the store to buy from me. I know that maybe 2% of the people that watch my videos is from the South Bay. So it doesn't make sense for me to market on get on here and be like, yo, come down to my store, blah, blah, blah on YouTube. If not everybody's from the South Bay. So you have to know who the hell you're selling to and make the products for those people for them to come and shop with you. Me talking about the South Bay and promoting my store to you, I don't know where you're from, but constantly saying that, you're gonna be like, man, this guy's full of it. Like, I don't need to hear his speech or his sales pitch or anything because it doesn't speak to me because you guys are not my customers. My customers live here in the South Bay. So that's why I'm marketing my stuff only to the people in Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Gardena, Torrance, Carson, San Pedro, Palos Verdes, El Segundo. Like these are just the places that I'm marketing my stuff to because my stuff speaks to them. That's my target audience, right? That's how you should think about your store or your brand or whatever you're doing is who's my customer, make shit for that customer and only market it to your customer. That makes sense. I don't think it makes sense, but I hope it makes sense. Let me see. Brown Liquor Show. Are the AS Color wait, is are the AS Color outlet clothes good? I don't know nothing about outlet clothes. I use the AS Color Classic. That's what I'm wearing right now. I wear these shirts blank. Like I wear the AS Color Classic all the time. Do you still do any big festivals? Yeah. Festival season for me is towards the summertime is when I vend at festivals. But yeah, like starting in like May through the summer. You ever get overwhelmed with a new drop that pushes you to outsource for printing? No. I haven't had that problem when I was doing the churro brand. Um, I was probably doing 50 to 70 shirts a day, pressing like I wasn't even pre-pressing them. I was just like orders coming in, I'm pressing them as they were coming in. We used to call the little room, like I used to do that out of my garage. And we used to call my garage the churro factory because I was just banging out shirts. And it would have made tons of sense to just pre-print a bunch of them, but I was always like, I got to ride this wave while it's good, and I don't want to get ahead of myself and order a bunch of shirts, and then let's say next week that shirt dies and it's no longer popular. Now I'm stuck with a bunch of shirts. So in my head, I was always like, I'm just gonna press to order everything because I know this thing is not gonna last forever. Basically, that makes sense. I got my photos 90745. What's happening, Carson? Shout out to Carson, man. Really appreciate the advice. Not a problem, man. You mentioned Lakers. How do you avoid copyright infringement? The Dodgers is the biggest market right now. You don't have to use their logos. You could make a shirt that says Los Angeles and do it in purple and yellow. You can make a shirt that says Los Angeles and make it in royal blue and white. You could make a Los Angeles shirt in royal blue and yellow for the Rams, or baby blue and yellow for UCLA, or the Chargers. You could do it in burgundy and yellow for USC. There's a lot of things you can do that don't necessarily have to be the logo, that still will relate with somebody that's a fan of these things. Like I tell this story all the time. The Lakers, long time ago, Staples Center, if the Lakers used to keep the opposing team under 100 points at the end of the game, every fan in Staples Center would get free tacos. So it was a normal thing to chant towards the end of a game, "We want tacos." So I made a shirt that said, "We want tacos." Purple shirt, yellow print, me and the homie Bob the Barber. At the time, we used to just sell t-shirts out of a duffel bag, and we would go to Staples Center, load up a shitload of these t-shirts in a duffel bag in different sizes, mainly large, extra large, double X. We would wear the shirt, have the duffel bag on before the game. When people are walking around taking pictures, people would see it. Some people would buy. Towards the end of the game, especially if they win, we'd be out there with the same shirt. And now people are a little more drunk. They're happy because they just won. They just got their coupon for the free tacos. And now they're buying the taco shirt from us. So now they could buy the shirt to wear in the game because it's purple and yellow. It's for a Laker game. It's about tacos, which is an inside thing of Laker fans know what "we want tacos" means. Easy call. Doesn't say Lakers, doesn't say Los Angeles. It's something that Laker fans know of in the Laker colorway, so it relates to them. And I'm outside of Staples Center selling these things. You don't have to use the logo. I didn't have to put Lakers logos all over it to sell it. It's just when you see something, if you're a Laker fan, purple and yellow, you gravitate towards, you relate to it. You're like, oh shit, like I could wear that to a game. I could wear that to the bar. I could wear that to the brewery to watch the game. As a fan, you already relate to it. So that's all it is just basically that. You know what I mean? Let me see. Can't wait to get to Cali and walk into the store. Appreciate that. Devoted brand. Hey, bro, I used to live in Carson, graduated Banning High. Hell yeah. Shout out to Carson. Shout out to Wilmington, man. Sure gonna visit your store soon. Hell yeah. I'm born and raised in Gardena, man. Appreciate your time and those dimes. Appreciate that, Richard. Let me see. Shout out to everybody jumping on from TikTok too, man. Once you find your audience, it's an amazing feeling. Texkin Clothing, you get it, man. Digging the shop vlog videos. Appreciate that. I'm gonna bring shop life back too. I haven't recorded much lately, but plan on bringing more of those. What's up, bro? I used to watch your YouTube videos, your advice when I first got into the game. Fernando, I appreciate that, man. I still do it. Still on YouTube. I'm live streaming on YouTube now and on TikTok. I do it every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I was thinking about buying a van to press t-shirts on the spot. Any advice? That's kind of hard to do. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of hard to do. You're gonna need a generator, and then you also just need to know where to pull up the van. Um, that's, I guess, the hard part about what you're trying to do is if you're trying to sell like press t-shirts live out of a van, you have to go somewhere where people are willing to buy a shirt pressed out of a van, if that makes sense. Long time ago, early 2000s, I had an ice cream truck. We used to we used to sell t-shirts out the ice cream truck. We didn't sell ice cream in it, but we set it up like an ice cream truck. So the stickers on the outside were the t-shirt designs that we had to offer. And then we would pull up to sneaker campouts in the ice cream truck. And this is back when people used to match, like you would match your shirt with your shoes and stuff like that. This is like pre countdown pack, Jordan countdown packs. So I don't remember the time frame, but if you remember like the CDPs or the countdown packs back then when Jordan used to launch 2 shoes at once, this is around that time. So when people would camp out for stuff, Nike SBs, Jordans, whatever the shoe was coming out, and they're camped out, we would pull the truck up and we would, yo, we got shirts that are going to match the shoes that you're about to buy. So we did that for a little while. And it was, we just drove the truck to where the people were that we wanted to sell to. Now I don't know if that would work because kids don't match their shoes and shirts no more. This is back when like matching was in. So you got like what was a good one that we did? Countdown packs were easy because it was black, white, and red. So a lot of our t-shirt designs were black shirts with white and red printing. So it'll always match the shoes that were coming out. Like any Jordan that had like retro Jordan that had like the normal Bulls colorways, it was easy to sell. But like let's say like a Nike SB. If you're familiar with like Boca Junior Nike SBs, which is like a royal blue and yellow with a gum sole, we would make shirts like that, sell those old Stussy SBs or um I'm trying to think Oompa Loompa SBs where it's orange, white, green, brown. We would make shirts that match that. So if that makes any sense. So if you're trying to get a van and press shirts, you're just gonna have to go. People are gonna be in the mood to buy a shirt that somebody's pressing out of a van. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I am saying it might be a hard sell. When it comes to the sneakers, it was easy because most kids were camping out with cash already. And we were just pulling up with something ready made so they could get the shoe, have the shirt like outfit ready to go. Let me see. How was the expo? Expo was dope, man. I liked it. I had a recap video on my YouTube page if you want to check it out. I show what I was looking at, kind of my thoughts on the show, but I thought it was cool, man. Cupheads, what's happening? Um, Gotcha. Thank you, sir. As a vet, you see any things that you haven't seen before? It was my first time going. Some of the dopest things I saw was the Utah company doing all over dye printing on cotton shirts. For me, some of the things that I saw that I liked was I feel like the industry is paying more attention to the home creator now. So a lot of what was being shown is like something that like I'll tell you this. I went to on Wednesday of last week before the show started, I went out to Heat Press Nation because they had an event where they're showing off their new showroom. Um, it was me and Master Screen Prints. We were the only two t-shirt content creators there. And the rest of the people there were crafters. Like they were in the crafting space. And I'm talking about like these ladies have huge followings. I'm talking huge followings. But it was like a eye opener for me to hear like what everybody makes and what they use and how they do things. And then most of them quit their full-time day job and they create content and they're just full-time crafters now, which is dope. And they came from all over the place, out of state. I think Crafting Carrie is in San Bernardino. She might have been the only other California person there besides me and Master Screen Prints. Everybody else, Crafting by Meyer, came from Texas. I think Teacher Over the Rainbow might have come from Texas too. There's a few people. Vibe Designs. I don't know where she came from, but they were just from all over the place. But like hearing how people use the equipment as home creators, like I consider them home creators. They might have shops, but I consider them home creators also. Is just dope to know that that's how the industry looks at everybody, and it's like, all right, there's these home creators that are killing it right now, and making dope stuff, and they pay attention to the content creators now and what we're talking about and what we're doing and how we're doing it. So seeing the companies react to that now, dope as hell. I think it's one of the coolest things in this industry right now is that the person that owns a heat press has a voice now. Whereas 10, 15 years ago at this show, the heat press guy had no voice and it was a shit show for the heat press person because it was so screen print heavy, um, big shop heavy. The home creator was like looked down upon. Now at this show, I feel like the home creator is the one that elevated this show to make this show what it is now. And that's the power of social media, the power of YouTube and content creators like myself that are talking about this stuff and opening up doors for more people, more content creators, more business owners to do so. So I really enjoyed seeing a lot of these big companies now not shy away from the home creator. And now they're like, yo, embracing the home creator, which is dope as hell to me. That's my big takeaway from the show. Every year it kind of elevates and I see how it is, but I think it's really cool, man. I'm going to an expo and set up next month. Should I come with pre-pressed shirts? Or you, if you're selling like at a festival or you're selling at an event, pre-press your shirts and bring them there. A lot of times, the event that you're at might not give you power because the heat press sucks up a lot of power. And like, let's say 8 different booths are going to be on that same circuit. You can't have 8 heat presses. You know what I mean? So I would pre-press stuff and then bring it to the show. That's what I would do. What show are you talking about? I'm talking about Impressions in Impressions Expo that just happened in Long Beach this last weekend or Thursday to Saturday. The Impressions Expo. I have my recap video, like I said, on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I'm also posting a bunch of footage that I have on TikTok as well. I heard it was good. Yeah, I think Impressions was dope as hell, man. I encourage everybody to go to that show. And the Bulldog plastic bill trucker hats. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Those plastic bill hats are wild, but somebody had said that those hats do good for them in the gaming space or something like that. I thought that was dope as hell, man. Thanks for the enamel pin hookup secret league. Gonna hit them up to see if I can add something to my arsenal. Oh, pins to my arsenal of items. Yeah, man. Hit them up. I think it's dope, man. Do you think blogging is still good for building an audience for your brand? If your audience reads blogs, yes. If your audience doesn't read blogs, it might be more of a visual thing. So I would say push the visual thing. But yeah, it all depends. If your audience reads blogs, like if you know that they're actively reading blogs, then yeah, go for it. Impressions Expo was cool. I was there Friday and Saturday. Anything from Impressions that was most inspiring for you? Talking to the people was the most inspiring thing for me. I had a good conversation with James from Atlanta Vinyl that really fired me up. The homie Glenn from Secret League, he fired me up with his conversation. There's a few people that I talked to, even the homie Ken from I Can Do It Studio. I walked around with him and we checked out a few booths. He's the one that put me up on Cotton Collective, their tree camo, because he's been using them for a while. We checked out their booth. Talking to people like that really get the ideas flowing for myself because when I hear other people working, it makes me want to work harder too. That makes sense. I went to the expo. It was great. First time I ever went. I liked it a lot. For me, the first time is always like the most overwhelming time because there's just so much going on. Machines going off, music playing, there's freaking printers going off. There's like it's just so much moving pieces to that show where it gets very overwhelming. Um, so you'll be like overly stimulated looking at everything, but I think that show is worth it for everybody to attend. Let me see. Do you think oh, I think I already read that one. You ever get pressed by the local community watch group for selling in their neighborhood? Nah. You ever get pressed by local? Nah. I mean, well, I don't really sell stuff in my neighborhood, but I do sell stuff in the South Bay, I should say. I asked because of the Gardena original, which I guess it was taken out of context by the locals not getting a piece of that pie. Nah. Uh, for me, it was always about I went and talked to the people that matter in that space first to let them know what I was doing. I didn't want to step on any toes, but then I also just wanted to protect myself. I wanted to make sure I was doing something that I could stand behind, and I wanted to do something that the community was going to stand behind. And it was well received. It was well received. I 1000% understand your question, and yeah, to me, that's what it was. It was more about doing my due diligence first before I even got started. I encourage everybody to do something like that, but at the same exact time, I gave a sense of pride for those. I think I ran that brand for like 2 years or something like that, two, maybe 3 years. The years that I ran that brand, I gave the community a sense of pride, especially the city of Gardena, where I was getting people outside because I was doing scavenger hunts throughout the city. Like, I'm not talking just in one area or section of the city. I went coast to coast from the city, like from the most southern part of the city to the most northern part, all the way east to west and everywhere in between. That city was outside looking for products. They were en- engaging with themselves. There was full families out here looking for stuff. Now you see stash and grabs happen all the time, and I guess that's what it's called now. But back then, I was just a scavenger hunt to me, and that right there made. I remember I had outside of the Gardena police station. Gardena has their own police station. Outside of the Gardena police station is like the city hall. That's where like basically the middle of the city. I was like leaving stuff there and I went to the police department. I said, yo, like this is what I do. I was wearing a hat, one of the Gardena original hats. I was like, I make these hats for the city of Gardena. I'm giving away stuff today. It was a Saturday morning. It's like I give away stuff. I want to leave this hat right here on the lawn in the middle of City Hall. You're gonna see a bunch of kids and stuff running here looking for this package. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. And they were like, what's your name? What's your phone number? In case this gets out of hand, we want to blame some or not blame somebody, but we want to be able to contact somebody. So I was like, yeah, it's cool. I said, after it's done, after it's found, I'll come back and you let me know what you guys thought of it. So I did it. And I had hid it under a bench. And sure enough, I posted, hey, this package is in this area. And then just swarms of people coming out looking through everything trying to find this hat. It was in a poly mailer. That poly mailer gets found. I post, yo, it's been found, blah blah. Everybody leaves to go to the next location because I was doing it all morning, all around the city. And I was, like I said, I'm driving furthest north part of the city to the southern part of the city, so it gives people a chance to like drive and find these places and locations. So I go back to City Hall and I'm just like to the police station. I'm like, hey man, like here's some shirts for everybody that's working here right now. Appreciate you guys letting me do this here on your lawn. And I know it's kind of pandemonium. And they were just like, yo, this was the craziest thing we've seen. And I appreciate you for doing this. And everybody was having a good time. And it was kids and parents and people of all colors and all sizes were out here. It's cool what you're doing. And that was the only, like, for myself, that was the only validation I needed was I'm doing something good for this community. And outside of the people of the community, participating and just reacting to and anticipating me doing it. Like I would tell people like on a Monday, I'll post like scavenger hunt this weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then the post gets shared a bunch of times and everybody's like getting hyped up for it. And then Saturday morning, I'm like, all right, first package was dropped. And then I'll give the little clue of where it was. And then my cousin would be like in a car filming them or watching. And he would be like, yo, there's, 16 cars pulled up right now and they're looking for it. And then he'd be like, yo, they found it. So then by that time, I'm on the other side of the city already and I'm hiding the next one. And then I post that, boom. And then my cousin drives down there. Hey, 30 something cars pulled up. Everybody's in the middle of the street running around looking for this thing. And like I said, it was so cool to do for the city that the city embraced it 1000%. Can I do it again? I don't know if it'd work again. But for the time that I did do it, I think it was dope as hell. And that's like, you can always watch, like, when I talk about Guardian Originals, I don't run it no more. I have nothing to do with that brand anymore. But you can look at, go to Gardena Originals to their Instagram page and just scroll to the very bottom. You'll see my dumbass face wearing the shirt and hoodies or whatever I was selling. You could see when I was like pulling up in parking lots to sell stuff out of my trunk. You could see how the scavenger hunts worked. You can see all the free shit I gave away. You can see all of that is documented there. The people that run Guardian Originals never got rid of it because of how impactful it was for the city. You know what I mean? But if you wanted to, you could go back and see and be like, yo, man, back in 2015, or I don't even know. Yeah, it might have been like 10 years ago, 2015, when I was doing that. or maybe 2014, whenever it was. You go back and check it out and be like, oh yeah, this is what he was talking about. And to me, that was like a pivotal part of the t-shirt journey because I was locked in. I knew who I was selling to. I knew my audience by that time. I knew everything that was going on. So every product I put out was a home run. Anything I put out was selling out instantly, like crazy. It that shit was wild, man. Now that I think about it, it might have been 2013, maybe, whatever it is. But yeah, but like I said, it's I just did my due diligence. I went around, talked to the right people, and was like, "Yo, this is what I'm planning on doing. Um, let me know if this doesn't work for some people." And everybody was like, "Yo, this is cool." I upgraded my Heat Press Nation signature series because of you. Hell yeah! Oh, I upgraded to the Heat Press Nation signature series. I love that press. Signature series is so dope, Terry. You just named the very goals I'm headed towards. Teach over the rainbow. So many like her, my dream job. I kept thinking teachers don't make much here in my county. I need to think bigger. Yeah, man. I came home and I told my wife that about Teach Over My Rainbow, Crafting by Myra, all these different crafters that I met at the Heat Press Nation thing. My wife's like, "Yo, I follow her. Like, that lady's cool. She has like, I think my wife says her workshop is like decked out like Friends, or it's Friends themed. My wife likes Friends, so she was like, "Yeah, I've been following this lady for like a long time, or this chick," and I thought it was cool. But yeah, shout out to Teach Over My Rainbow, man. 316 said impressions was blast. Can't wait to go to Printing United later this year. These expos are great networking opportunities. Much respect from the PNW. I think that's the Pacific Northwest. Go Hawks. Hell yeah. Shout out to 316 Outdoors. Really dope dude. Family was cool. We got a chance to meet him at Impressions. Solid dude, dope ass story. But at the end of the day, it's all about grind and knowing what you want to do and how you're going to do it. And just understanding that, like I said, he was fired up. He was telling me a story. And I was with the homie Ken from I Can Do It Studio. And just hearing his story inspired me because I'm like, yo, man, like the sheer excitement in his voice of bragging, not bragging, but talking about his brand and what he wants to do is what I used to like. Like that, getting a chance to brag about some shit you're passionate about is one of the like craziest like energies that you can have. And I could feel it off of people when they talk about it, like the homie Glenn from Street League, when he's telling me about Pokemon. I don't know nothing about Pokemon, but he's telling me about it. And then he's telling me how the pins work and how he sells them and what he does and how he makes them. When you feed off that kind of energy, oh man, it's this shit is addicting for one, but it's also like you just get like consumed in it, right? It's like a fucking hurricane and you're in the middle of that thing and you can feel it. So shout out to the homie 316 Outdoors. One, for sharing his story, but two, for sharing just his pure passion for what he's trying to do. And I think it's dope as hell. And outside of that, family was super nice and cool and entertaining as well, man. That's what I like going to these shows for, is to talk to the people, get a chance to hear people's stories, and just get a chance to like bro down with people. You know what I mean? Let me see. I stopped using Shaka because they limit you from their products. I now use AS Color also. Hell yeah. What I know, Shakaware wasn't there this year, or I didn't see their booth, but um, I feel like they're going in a different direction, and they're going in that direction where they're not talking to the print shops no more. They're not talking to the home creators no more, home printers no more. It's more about like they're trying to sell the brand as a brand now, right? Shaka, where they're advertising, all that stuff is more catered towards that. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me because, I'm a printer at the end of the day. I'm trying to find blank t-shirts I could print on and sell to my community. So, that's why I use AS Color, because AS Color still talks to the print shops. AS Color still talks to the home creator, to the home printer. They know what we're going through and they're offering what we need. You know what I mean? It's not about we want to make AS Color the biggest household name. It's more about just how can we help you out. And there's nothing like Shockware. I think is still dope. They put out good products. It's just for me, it doesn't work for what I need to use them for. You know what I mean? Like, so I stopped using them. AS Color is where it's at, man. I also like Smart Blink. AS Color and Smart Blink to me are two companies that I think still talk to the home printer. That makes sense. Coach Matt said, Ken from I Can Do It and G6 dropped some knowledge and motivation bombs. 2026 is my year. G6 is such a dope person. Tom, Linda, the coolest people that I have ever met at Impressions. Ken is a force. Like when it comes to like the what that dude does, what he's been a part of, and just his involvement in the apparel industry, crazy man. He just knows so much, and he's kind enough to share everything. There's not a lot of people like that. A lot of people share with the intention of receiving something on the back end. Like I'll make these YouTube videos and talk about certain things because I'm going to get paid for it. There's a lot of content creators like that. Ken, quite the opposite, man. Um, Ken's way different. You know what I mean? G6 says TikTok channel has no video. I'm about to end the TikTok one right now. Then, all right. Let me see. All right, I just shut down the TikTok if it didn't have no views or no video. Um, but the cool thing about like networking at these things or meeting up for these like meet and greets and getting a chance to network with other creators is the inspiration and motivation that comes with those conversations. You get fired up and you're just like, yo, you talk to this person, like, what, you do that? Man, I'm gonna try to do that too. Or just hearing how hard people are working makes others work hard as well. So that's why I like that G6 does these meet and greets because it gives everybody a chance to like meet in person, hang out, but then everybody gets to share what they do. And then, like I said, that energy, it's like a hurricane, man. When you're in that and you feel that, you just start to be like, oh shit, man. Like it's just so dope, man. Let me see. What heat press paper do you use? Like the Teflon sheet? I use the Teflon from Amazon. I think it's like $12 for like 3 sheets. Like the standard, just type in Teflon sheet, whatever size heat press you have, and then it'll pop up on Amazon. That's the one I use, if that's what you're talking about. I love the shared energies. Yeah, man, it's shit is crazy, man. It's captivating for one, but it's also contagious because you're feeding off it and you're just yeah, it's dope, man. Shock has wide, thick collars, that's for sure. Are there any YouTube channels that you watch that inspire you in regards of marketing, business, and printing? Um, some of the people I like to watch, and this is just like a personal thing, is like Mike Tees. He's dope to watch. Rye Beats is dope. Um, T-shirt Buddy, but I mainly watch him on Instagram. Really, um, for like content creating stuff, I'll watch. I think their channel is called Think Media. They do a lot of insights on like content creating, microphones like this. They'll do reviews on that kind of stuff. As far as like marketing, not too much. You know what? Like when it comes to marketing, I listen to like old interviews of and TED Talks of Johnny Cupcakes. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's owned a brand called Johnny Cupcakes. I'll listen to his old TED Talks. I'll listen to like old interviews that he did because he has like a crazy way of thinking when it came to like marketing and designing his stores and the concepts behind his stores. I thought that was very interesting. Like hearing creatives talk about being creative is pretty dope to me. Like this morning I went on a run. Shout out to the Low Tide Society Run Club. I went for a run this morning, and this is my first time running, listening to a podcast while running. I usually listen to music, and I listened to a podcast that Bobby Hundreds was on. Bobby from the Hundreds, the one that used to run the Hundreds. Um, and I listened to his podcast, because hearing creatives talk about being creative is just like it's I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's because it's like I know what it's like to talk about being creative because I do it on YouTube all the time, right? But hearing somebody else do it and then hearing their point of views on why the way they think or their viewpoints on certain things, very interesting to me. So I listen to stuff like that. Like Bobby, I'll listen to him, or I have his audiobook. I'll listen to his audiobook sometimes. I think that shit's called Not Just a T-shirt, or I don't know, just type in Bobby Hundreds on Amazon and it'll come up. But as far as YouTube stuff, there's not too many podcasts and stuff. Like every now and then I'll listen to like a Gary V thing, but sometimes he's a little too much for me and I have to turn it off. But I mean, stuff that he says is kind of cool and hypes you up too. But yeah, I think that's the only content that I consume like that outside of like just like podcasts for entertainment, like funny stuff. I'll listen to a bunch of stuff like that. But when it comes to like business and marketing and just printing or just creative in general, that's why I listen to old TED Talks from Johnny Cupcakes. He has some good ones, old interviews from Johnny Cupcakes, like hearing the concept of his stores, why he does what he does, and then the growth of his brand when he was like, I think it was started in Boston, then he came out to LA and he had an LA store. His LA store was set up like a bakery. His brand is called Johnny Cupcakes. He would do collabs with a bunch of people and do crazy packaging, and it's just hearing that kind of stuff is dope. But what I will say is, if you wanted to watch like a series about creatives or people in the industry, there's an old HBO show called How to Make It in America. Highly recommend watching. It's only 2 seasons. It's an easy watch. Based out of New York, some guys starting clothing brands and stuff like that, and all the crazy shit that goes into it, and just how it navigates through the business. Um, is interesting to watch, highly inspirational and motivational. So if you haven't seen that show, it's called How to Make It in America. Pretty dope. Uh yeah, and then outside of that, audiobooks and shit like that. There's a book called Damn Good Advice. If you ever look, I don't know if they have an audiobook, but it's just kind of a weird, it's not a regular book, but good for marketers. It's good for like people that are in advertising and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool read. Let me see. Hopefully that answered your question about content creators. I don't really consume too much content, but like on YouTube, what's the price wholesale for AS Color shirt? It's hard to say because I don't know what tier you would be in. So if you're buying only one or two shirts, you might be in a lower tier. I don't know what the pricing is for that. If you're buying hundreds of t-shirts, then your tier would be different. So it's hard to say. Um, what I would say is, and plus there's a bunch of different AS Color shirts on there that are all different priced, is sign up for a wholesale account and then you can see what tier you land in and then you can see the wholesale pricing for you. Shaka and LA turned into a big business and don't care about us anymore. Just like SNS, I stopped using them because now they are double dipping and laughing at us. 100% I agree with that, man. When SNS was here in California still at Santa Fe Springs, I used to use them a lot. One, because they offered all style shirts at the time. And two, I could just go pick the stuff up. But yeah, I don't use them too much anymore either. What do you do when not getting sales? I have a positive response on TikTok, but haven't got sales. What I usually do is if I'm not getting sales, I go heavy on social media. And for my social media, it's always engagement, 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 meaning I go out and I talk to customers, make them aware. And then, like, let's say I hit up 500 people on Instagram. I'll see what that conversion rate looks like on my Shopify because you can see where they're clicking from. If I see, like, let's say I talk to 500 people on TikTok, and then I'll look at if any of the clicks came from TikTok. Then I'll see if it's working or not. And then I'll switch to Instagram. I'll do the same thing on Instagram. Then I'll look at my Shopify and see how many clicks came from Instagram. And then whoever is engaging the most and clicking through, then I go harder on that social media, if that makes any sense. But that's usually my go-to. Like, say if like for 2 days I haven't seen any sales and I just restock my store and nobody's buying anything, I'll post a something about some shirts that I'm making. Like today I posted the LA hats that I make, right? So I posted a reel of me embroidering that LA hat. On the back end, I restocked that LA hat. So it's getting people to see that I have the LA hats in stock. Once I do that, then I look at where the clicks are coming from. Is it coming from Instagram? Is it coming from TikTok? Is it coming from Facebook or YouTube or wherever it's coming from? Or is it coming from my link tree or whatever it is? I'll see where that's coming from and then I just double down on it. And then I'll just talk to people. And then sure enough, I had a ton of fucking sales for those LA hats. I think blue might be sold out, if not almost sold out already. Um oh, Ed Lovato, what's happening, brother? I met the guys from Pro Transfer at Impressions and had a cool combo with them. Have you ever used their heat transfers? Nah, you know what? I haven't used Pro Transfer. Um, Out of the people at the show, I've used 613. I've used FM, Supercolor, obviously. Um, I don't know if Howard was there. I've used Howard before and Transfer Express. Those are the ones that I have used. As far as Pro Transfer, I haven't used them, so I'm not 100% sure. But Ed, hit Dave up. Dave talked to some people, some transfer people over there. I don't know what companies he talked to, but they were based out of Orange County, I think. Um, Maybe Orange County. If not the Valley. If it's the Valley, then really hit up Dave. But yeah, reach out to Dave because when he went, he talked to some transfer companies that were uh, local to Southern California that were pretty dope. Gonna set one up for Printing United in October and GPX in Long Beach. Hell yeah. Just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for the community. Was really excited to be able to share my passion and the inner workings of my community with you and how your videos has helped me. Hell yeah, Glenn. So this is the dude I was talking about that makes the pins. Shout out to you for even being on the live stream. Shout out to Secret League. But Glenn's the dude that does the pins and is into the Pokemon stuff. Um, Really dope to me. Um, a true inspiration for myself. I'll say that because of the stories he shared and the inner workings of his business really inspired me to be like, yo, I need to get on my shit. One, I need to get on my shit so I could be traveling around like him. But then two, it was like, I can't be so narrow minded. I got to understand that there's more to this business. And he opened that up for me within that short conversation that we did have. So, Glenn, thank you for that. Thank you for jumping on the live for one, but then also thank you for the conversation. And it was good meeting you, man. Have you ever used Printify? I've never used Printify. I don't use any of those print on demand companies. One of the reasons I don't trust them is because of quality control. I don't get to see what the customer sees. Like I don't see the end result. So I don't know what the customer is going to receive. And I'm putting all of my trust with my name behind it into somebody else's hands that doesn't really give a shit about my brand. So that's one of the reasons why I don't use those is because I want to know what I one if it's coming out of my shop, I know that it's been quality checked by going over there. So I try to do it as best as possible, if that makes any sense. Um, of knowing what's going out of my shop to the customer. But if I'm trusting somebody I don't know with that and my name is attached to it, I'm a little hesitant to do that because I would hate for that customer to get a shirt with the print crooked or stains on the shirt or not the right print or the print looks muted or whatever the case is and then not shop with me no more. And it doesn't give me a chance to rectify that because they're just saying, "Hey, I ordered from you and this is what I got." And then the first thing they do is they go on social media and bash you or they don't shop with you no more. And I like to try to create returning customers. So when I sell something, I want that customer to have a good experience, for one, with the product they bought from me, but I also want them to know that I actually care about their business. You know what I mean? Like them shopping with me, I really care about it. So I want to make sure that that's going to be the best thing possible that I could give them. Um, with print on demand companies, I don't get that, and I get it. The print on demand company does everything. They ship it out, print it. They handle all the legwork for it. I just don't trust their quality. And they could say they have the best quality control, blah blah blah. You don't know. Like, what if whoever's running that DTG printer that day might be having a bad day, or maybe their dog just died and they don't even want to be there, but they got bills to pay, so they're there and they're just going through the motions, printing, getting these orders out. They're just trying to cash the paycheck, and they're just doing their hours. And if they're not putting the same care into it that I would, then I feel like it probably wouldn't go over as well. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. Thank you for the kind words. You have been such a big part of our growth in this industry. We have met so many awesome people since first meeting you way back in the beginning. Tom and Linda. Yeah, not a problem, man. G6. I was there, man. I was there when the sticker business started. In Kappas. I got a chance to meet in Kappas, that's for sure. Shout out to you, man. Good to see you at Impressions. Have you been in Magic Las Vegas Expo sourcing hats for private labels? I used to go to Magic long time ago. I used to go to Agenda long time ago. Um, these are shows that I used to go to, man, probably like way over 15 years, that's for sure. This is probably almost 20 years ago or something like that, when I used to go to those shows. But I haven't been since. I haven't been since. So I haven't been to Magic in a long time. I haven't been to Agenda. I don't even know if Agenda's still around. It might be. I know Magic's still around, but I haven't. So it's been a while. But good meeting you also, man. I appreciate you. In Campus, when I was talking to James from Atlanta Vinyl, in Campus was dope. He kind of just stood by and he seen we were in conversation, but then ended up, approaching and saying what's up. So I'm glad you did, because now I could put a face to the name. And it was really good meeting you. But I haven't been to Magic in a long time, man. I used to go a long time ago though. I live in PA and would never use Ninja. So I think maybe that's where Ninja's from. Ninja is based out of Pennsylvania. It's my guess. I use a local vinyl store close to my house, but some of the transfers don't stick, especially white lettering. They stick, but the lettering gets cut off. Check my pressure and it's perfect. That's kind of a hard one. You might have to just adjust some other settings, maybe bump the heat up a little, or if you got it from a store, hit them up and be like, "Yo, man, like something's wrong. Help me troubleshoot this thing." Let me see. G6 said Printimize Americas and Torrance does transfers in house. Hell yeah. Should I try a transfer company? You can. I would say when it comes to like ordering transfers, it's almost like you got to try them all out to see which one works best for you. So I would go down the list and order samples from all of these companies. Chances are they'll give you free samples too. Just hit them up like, "Yo, how can I get a sample pack?" They'll ship it out to you because they want your business. But try out all of these different companies and then find the one that works best for you and your press and your setup, which one you could lay down the best. And then that's who I would order through, if that makes any sense. Because if I just said, "Hey, get your transfers from here," and you get them and they don't work for you, it's not because it's a bad transfer, because I use them and I know I could lay them down, but some other people can't lay them down. And it's not a reflection on you that you don't know what you're doing. It's just the humidity in your room could be crazy. Your press could be dialed in different and calibrated different. Your t-shirts could retain moisture, and I don't know that. And you might live in some crazy humidity filled area of the world in Florida or Hawaii or something, and that could jeopardize production also. So instead of just telling you go to this company, I say just type in DTF transfers or transfers into Google, order samples from everybody. I don't know where you live in the country, but the T-shirt buddy prints transfers, and he's a content creator. Mike Tees, he runs Crispy Prints out of Ohio. He prints transfers. Heart and Hustle prints transfers. They're in Georgia, I believe. um, ADub Productions prints transfers. He's in Philadelphia, I believe. Rye Beats is in Northern California also. All of these people print transfers, but the reason I name all these people is because they're content creators, so they care about the quality of the prints, but they're also recording content while they're printing, so you get a chance to see what their shop is like. You can see if they're maintaining their machines. You can see them printing orders out. You can see them, if checking the prints and making sure things get out on time and stuff like that. The big print companies don't do that. So you don't get to see the inner workings of their shops. Whereas the content creators are content creators first, transfer printers second, so you can see what it looks like in their shop, and then you could buy from them. And then they're super accessible. So say if you can't lay their transfers down, you can hit them up directly in the comments and be like, yo, I ordered these transfers, I'm having this issue. And their customer service is dead on because their name is on the line, so they're willing to help you out. So really, really, like, check out the content creators that print transfers and sell transfers. They're all competitively priced. Merch Studio is on TikTok. They're the other one. I don't know where he's located, but he's pretty good at creating content and stuff like that. Heat Press Nation offers True Color. That's their in-house transfers. They back their stuff up. But yeah, that's what, like, if we're talking about like who should you start looking at, I would start there with the content creators. Those guys don't pay me. I've met them all. I think they're all cool people. Um, so I'm not trying to promote them like for any financial gain or anything like that. The benefit I see of ordering transfers from those dudes though is, like I said, you could see them working. So you could kind of see, like I said, you don't want to buy transfers from somebody that's printing in their bedroom and the bedroom is dusty and dirty, and then your transfers are getting printed there. These guys all print in like nice areas. They show their operation, they show the love and care that they put into what they're doing, and that speaks volumes to me, if that makes any sense. So I would look at that. The t-shirt buddy, um Mike Tees. He runs Crispy Prints. ADUB Productions, ADUBB Productions. Heart and Hustle, spelled exactly like Heart and Hustle. Rye Beats, RHY Beats. Merch Studios is MERCH Studios. Who else did I miss? I know I said them all before, but those guys are all dope because, like I said, they film videos of them printing, so it's kind of cool to watch. Let me see. Shopify really good? I think so. I'm from Jamaica. I don't know if it would benefit me though. Yeah, it all depends on however you think you're going to process your credit cards, where you're going to host your site, who you're going to use for shipping. Those are the main things that Shopify offers you all under one roof. If you don't, then you would have to do them all separate. You would have to host your site on a somewhere. You would have to get your shipping done somewhere else. So all of that's like, and then you would have to sign up for somebody to process your credit card transactions. So I do it all under Shopify because I don't want to have to deal with like 3 different logins and 3 different things. I just rather all under one roof. Ninjas in Philly, pure garbage. I've seen. I've never used them, so I can't say good or bad things. You know what I mean? I've never tried DTF Town. I don't really use DTF transfers, so I've never used them. ADUB is in Philadelphia. Hell yeah. David's following from San Francisco. So San Francisco, I believe the T-shirt buddy is up in somewhere in the Bay. I don't know exactly where in the Bay, but he's up there. Maybe he might be in Vallejo. I'm not sure. Tell you the truth, you're gonna have to hit him up and ask him. The T-shirt buddy, I know he's from the Bay though, and that's where his shop's at. Also, what's his name is Rye Beats. Rye Beats is from Northern California also. G6 Customs is in Salinas. DTF Town is pretty good. I have never tried them, but it's worth trying. So whoever's looking for it, check out DTF Town also. Coach Matt uses FM. I went to their booth and they wouldn't even talk to me. Damn. I went to 613 and their gal gave me her full attention, samples, etc. How do you handle that? I'm ready to try 613 for a full switch. I don't know this for a fact, but this is what I heard through the grapevine is the person that started 613 used to be part owners or affiliated with FM. He left FM, started 613. That's why their ink formulas are very similar. Um, and then 613, 6 is the no wait, F is the sixth letter in the alphabet, and 13 M is the 13th letter in the alphabet. So there's similarities like that. I don't know how true this is. This is just something I heard through years of printing and stuff like that. And so if you had to leave FM to go to 613 based on customer service only, easy call because they offer the same things, 613 and FM. Um, I don't remember the exact story if they're like brothers and they left, or one guy used to own the company and then left, or I don't know how it works. But all my years of going to impressions and when 613 started up, um, that's just what I heard. Um, but I've never heard directly from somebody at 613 or somebody at FM. This is just he say, she say. But when you look at their menus of the ink formulas that they offer and stuff like that, very similar. So if you had to leave FM, I don't think you'd be missing anything by going to 613. You probably get better customer service if that's what it was, you know what I mean? And I've used both 613 and FM before. I think they're both good. The only thing I didn't like about FM back in when I used to use them a lot was they would like drop the deadline all the time. Like so say like, yo, I need these transfers by next Thursday. By the time Wednesday comes up, they're like, we haven't got to it yet, but we'll ship it out first thing in the morning. And then I don't receive them till like the following Monday or something. I used to hate that. Um, you're promoting the goats. Hell yeah, man. To me, I think those guys are all dope because they print transfers and they make content around them printing. I wish like the big transfer companies created content like that and we could see what their shops look like and what they're printing and stuff, but they don't. Which t-shirt blanks do you use? I use AS Color mainly. I also use a little bit of Smart Blanks. I used to use Shockaware. I used to really love All Style. But yeah, that's what I use. It's true they had a falling out and one started the other. There you go, man. We've probably heard the same rumors or it's probably fact. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't know for a fact if that's what happened, but that's just what I heard over the years. That FM 613 thing is crazy. Yeah, it is. So you heard rumors? I heard the rumors, man. They used to be buzzing around the this is back when impressions used to be called ISS. This is back when ISS was a thing and this is when I heard all that. Yeah, this company started because of this and blah blah blah. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. But I will say this: 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, um, Impressions Expo 613 had a like a taco truck in the middle of the expo floor. They weren't selling tacos, but they were wrapping up T-shirts to look like burritos. They're giving out samples that look like tacos. Setup was dope. That to me, hands down, probably one of the best booth build outs I've ever seen. And that was 613. That was when I first found out that they do the mixed media transfers, half puff and half regular Plastol transfer. When I seen that, it was from that Impressions Expo when they had the taco truck. But that was like probably one of the best booth build outs. Howard, the following year at GPX, I think they had like a fucking truck. Like they had like a pickup truck in the middle and they were pressing in the back of the truck. They kind of made it look like a tailgate theme or something. That was a pretty dope booth build out too. The block from AS, the block shirt's dope, man. I seen it in uh not the block. I'm talking about the block shirt's dope. That's a tubular shirt. I'm talking about the box t-shirt from AS Color. That's my first time seeing it in person at the trade show, and I was like, yo, that shirt's dope. But I print on block t-shirts. I print on AS Color Classics. I print on AS Color heavy fade shirts a lot. Yeah. Oh, and their hoodies, I use the Relax hoodie. I checked out the Made line. Made line's really dope. Doesn't fit my price range though. It's pretty expensive, and they don't have that many color offerings for it. But it is nice as hell to wear. I'd probably buy it just to wear, but to print on and sell, probably not. I'm gonna stick with the Relax hoodie, and Relax crew neck. Tons of color offerings. Very like very soft, heavyweight, dope hoodie, dope crew neck too. All right, man. We almost did 2 hours. Appreciate everybody for jumping on this thing, especially spending your Tuesday evening with me. If I met you at ISS or Impressions, I appreciate the conversations we had. Thank you guys for, continuing to show love, man. Like, it's crazy that this YouTube channel helps out so many people, and so many people use the information shared on this channel. I really appreciate that, man. So thank you. I do this every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on YouTube and TikTok when TikTok's working. All right. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.